Hello everyone. Before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment saying where you're from and when you watched. That way, YouTube will continue to show you stories like this. Now, let's get started. Asterisk, I knew that. If I continued to stay in the house without understanding its past, I would gradually lose myself like those who had gone before. So I decided to leave the house for a day and go to the city's civil archives to find information about the first owner who had lived here. It took me nearly 2 hours to search through the dusty paper archives. I finally found the name of the first man to register ownership of house number 44 in 1952. His name was Thomas Laird, a strange name for an area with all indigenous people. This man moved from somewhere else and built the house on a vacant lot that had previously been abandoned. After a fire in 1947, I flipped through the records and discovered something unusual. Thomas had no wife, no children, no relatives noted in the records. Everything was blank, and even the portrait was blurred as if it had been erased or burned. The scary thing was that after Thomas moved in, he had never registered to leave or sell back to the house, but after 1956, all information about him disappeared. Completely, I asked the office staff if anyone had ever investigated this matter. She looked at me with a bewildered look and whispered, "There was a journalist who asked about Thomas in 1982, but then that person did not return and the press did not publish any related articles." I wrote down all the brief information and asked for copies of the remaining documents. Returning to the house in the afternoon, I felt the atmosphere was different. The sunlight falling on the window seemed to be warped. Each of my steps echoed in the house, not like a normal sound, but like someone was repeating the footsteps behind me. I opened the files spread out on the living room table. When I turned to the last page, I discovered a piece of news that had been sandwiched between 2 old sheets of paper. The yellowed newspaper clipping was printed in 1955. The headline was large and bold: "The mysterious man suspected of being involved in a series of strange disappearances in the area." The content of the article described how during the 2 years he lived here, Thomas had reported by neighbors many times because of the screams coming from the house at night. Delivery people did not dare to go to the door because of the unbearable stench, but every time the police came, he was not home or refused to see. Then the article ended with a sentence that sent a chill down my spine. Maybe he did not live alone. I put the article down and looked around the house. Everything was still quiet, but I felt something awakening from those words. Maybe Thomas never left here, maybe he was still alive, or had become a part of this place. I took out his old photo and compared it with the face in the painting hanging in the secret room, faint, but with a very clear resemblance. I did not know how, but I was sure that person had recorded himself in that ritual as a demonic mark. That night, I did not turn on the lights. I sat in the dark with the file spread out in front of me and the tape recorder placed in the middle of the room. I just asked one simple question: "Thomas, are you here?" After 10 minutes of silence, suddenly the window shook violently, the flashlight turned on randomly, and the tape recorder made a small crackling sound. I waited, and then a hoarse voice rang out in the speaker, not loud, not clear, but definitely a grown Mancy never left. I choked, and my body stiffened. I knew I had touched the core of the problem. He never left house number 44. He was here from the beginning. He was the one who called the souls here to do something that I could not understand. I had to know more. I needed to know what he did in this house in the early years. I will go back to the past in a different way. Watch the next episode to see what happens when I find the diary hidden in the floor of the secret room, and the truth almost drives me crazy.